Sharing childhood story, divulging personal information, or giving an inspiring call to action. If you think this is what is going to make your TED Talk or next speech remarkable and powerful and most watched video in the list of TED Talk, it's not going to happen because you're highly mistaken about what does it take to create a powerful and engaging TED Talk. Listen from the horse's mouth.
Some people think that there's a TED Talk formula. Give a talk on a round red rug, share a childhood story, divulge a personal secret, end with an inspiring call to action. No, that's not how to think of a TED Talk. In fact, if you overuse those devices, you're just going to come across as cliched or emotionally manipulative.
Wait, I'm confused. Because then what makes a TED Talk really powerful and engaging? Well, for that you have to listen to Chris Anderson because he's the man responsible for almost all the TED Talk, especially those who are really, really great. Listen to him.
There is one thing that all great TED Talks have in common, and I would like to share that thing with you. Because over the past 12 years, I've had a ringside seat listening to many hundreds of amazing TED speakers like these. I've helped them prepare their talks for prime time and learned directly from them their secrets of what makes for a great talk. And even though these speakers and their topics all seem completely different, they actually do have one key common ingredient. And it's this. Your number one task as a speaker is to transfer into your listeners' minds an extraordinary gift, a strange and beautiful object that we call an idea.
Talk like Do Schools Kill Creativity by Sirkin Robinson or by Amy Cuddy where she talks about your body language may shape who you are, or by Julian Treasure where he talks about how to speak that so that people want to listen to, or by the man of stats himself, Hans Rosling, where he talks about the best stats you have ever seen. Now, these videos, of course, have one centric idea that they focused on, but there is something more than that. You care for your idea is one thing, but then making other people care for your idea is a different ball game, which is why I always say it in my class. There are two fractions of a great talk. One, what you say. And another one, how you say it. And today is all about how you say it. Because otherwise, think about it. Why would you care about global health stats unless you hear it from Hans Rosling himself? You wouldn't care about this education system, how poor it is and how poorer it's getting day by day, unless you hear it from Sirkin Robinson himself and you're like, oh my goodness, I am really taken aback. This is how it is. So let's talk about what are those three elements, what makes all these popular videos really click. First one is open the curiosity loop of your listeners, of your audience, and create a knowledge gap. It has to be the curiosity loop. And it's very easy, very simple to do, not so simple, however. It is to ask a question. A question, of course, not without a context. Give a context, ask a question, and then let people know it can be solved. And how to? Stay tuned with me. That's what is a curiosity loop. And that's why people stay tuned. Here are some examples.
The human voice. It's the instrument we all play. It's the most powerful sound in the world, probably. It's the only one that can start a war or say, I love you. And yet many people have the experience that when they speak, people don't listen to them. Why is that? How can we speak powerfully to make change in the world?
So today, for me, being fearless means being honest. And I am on this stage because I am a model. I'm on this stage because I am a pretty white woman. In my industry, we call that a sexy girl. And I'm going to answer the questions that people always ask me, but with an honest twist. So the first question is, how do you become a model? And I always just say, oh, I was scouted, but that means nothing. The real way that I became a model is I won a genetic lottery, and I am the recipient of a legacy. And maybe you're wondering, what is a legacy? Well,
how do you explain when things don't go as we assume? Or better, how do you explain when others are able to achieve things that seem to defy all of the assumptions? For example, why is Apple so innovative? Year after year after year after year, they're more innovative than all their competition. And yet, they're just a computer company. They're just like everyone else. They have the same access to the same talent, the same agencies, the same consultants, the same media. Then why is it that they seem to have something different.
Nothing is more engaging than a shared laughter. Some sense of humor is required to let people watch you and stay tuned with you or stay glued listening to you with a big smile on their face for 18 minutes of TED Talk. I think which is what, in fact, Duolingo founder did when he was talking about how to make learning as addictive as social media. He starts by saying, I'm from Guatemala, and this is a public service announcement. This is where the Guatemala is. And he shows the map. And everybody laughs like anything. What a great beginning. So, if you think entertainment has nothing to do with your talk, well, find that piece of element which will make people have big smile on their face, or else I would rather suggest don't even think of delivering a talk.
So, I'm from Guatemala. This is a public service announcement. That is where Guatemala is. Also, that is not where they keep the prisoners. That is called Guantanamo. Not the same place. So, Guatemala is right below Mexico. And for the Americans in the audience, and let this sink in because it really applies in most ways. For the Americans in the audience, you can think of it as Mexico's Mexico.
Third one is make it relatable, make it accessible. Your idea should be accessible and understandable by most of the people who are listening to you across the globe. How to do that? Well, no, it's much more than just showing a clip of a video. It's much more than just, reinforcing your ideas by putting some PowerPoint presentation or showing stats over there. I am talking about make it relatable with the use of your language tool. Yes, I am talking about the devices which allow you to persuade people. I'm talking about analogy. I'm talking about simile and a metaphor. Well, let's not get confused here. I'm talking about when Bill Gates, while talking about the germ that he wants to create, not the germ he wants to create, but in the topic where he was talking about how we can curb the pandemic and epidemic in the future. And to lay down his idea, he used a parallel example from King Augustine time, that how he first time thought of an idea of creating firefighters, and then he used that as a fundamental basis for most people to really have understanding of what is he trying to propose here, right? So I'm talking about bring the element of accessibility. I am talking about thinking first about the audience, then thinking about your idea, thinking about how would they understand it better, how would they really soak the information easily. Think about it this way: if I'm going to give public speaking training to the people in countryside, in village or the small cities, let's say, right, I'm certainly not going to talk a lot about how the big city people live in and what are the challenges that cities face. I will have to go on my toes to think about, well, what is it that they care the most, even if it is public speaking. So make it relatable. Once you do it, chances are your TED Talk is going to be in the list of most popular and watched TED Talk in the history of TED Talk. As much as I would like to pat on my shoulder and say that, wow, Khushi, you just divulged some of the most important elements of a great TED Talk. No, that's not it. It is just a tip of the iceberg. It is just the content. Ultimately, it is you who has to give hours and hours and hours of not just writing practice, not just speaking practice, but actually presenting yourself in some venues and practicing your ideas. Having said that, if you need help in it, well, Pep Talk India is always there to help you. And before you leave, one thing. If you too watch TED Talk, which one is your favorite? Do write in the comment section below and let me know why. Why do you disagree with the TED Talk that I just actually talked about in this video? Do share in the comment section below. Or if you want to know more, anytime, you're most welcome. Write in the comment section. What do you want to know more about creating a powerful, engaging, and wonderful TED Talk or just a speech?